Today I want to talk to you about some tools that are handy to have in your toolbox when you're doing a satellite dish or TV antenna installation. And I am just a hobbyist, I'm not a professional installer. These are the tools that I use, and I'm sure that some people might have other tools that they would add to the list. We'll start right here with the satellite meter. This is a SatHero 400 satellite meter finder. This is a really handy device to have for satellite dish installations. Just saves you a lot of work and headaches having to go inside and check a TV screen to see what your signal level is at, or instead of lugging a TV and receiver outside to check it, you can just wear this around your neck, and it's an all-in-one satellite meter, receiver, and TV. So it's a really handy tool to have if you're going to do a lot of satellite installations, or if you just like to tinker around with satellite dishes for a hobby like I do. Next is a piece of coax cable. I always like to have a length of coax cable handy just in case it's needed for an LNB hookup or something, and also it's nice to have a length of coax to be able to plug into the satellite meter when you're working out in the yard. And what I put on the end of it here is this little quick disconnect that converts a screw-on RF connector to a push-on, and this just saves a lot of wear and tear on the RF connector that's built into the satellite meter as well. Next, I have some coax cable installation tools here. Always carry a pair of cable cutters with you. Those are always handy instead of using like scissors or a knife. You'll need a coax stripping tool of some kind to prepare the cable for a connector. These are compression connectors here. They get squeezed on with this tool here. This is a compression connector. Or you can use this kind here. This is a crimp-on connector, and that tool looks like this. This is a ratcheting crimp connector for RG6. And another option would be twist on. All you have to do is cut the cable, and then these literally just twist right on the ends. These are really good in a pinch, and they'll work fine. Probably not great for outdoor installations, but they're certainly good for an indoor installation, or if you don't have a crimping tool with you. Something else that's good to have is a roll of electrical tape, just to wrap coax connections, although it's probably better to use some kind of specifically made coax wrap or weatherproof wrapping or something, but this is all I have right now. So always handy to have some electrical tape. I like to carry a couple of these all the time too. These are splice connectors. They allow you to connect two pieces of coax cable together. So you have two short pieces and you need to make one longer run. Having a couple of these on hand is always helpful, just so you're not wasting cable. Drill is a handy tool, of course, not just for drilling holes, but also for installing dishes. Here's a nut driver I use to go with these screws. I find these ones to be really secure. They hold dishes on nicely. They bite into wood good, and they're easy to drive in. So always have some kind of a tool like that, a drill with the appropriate bit to install the screws or bolts you use. And a variety of wrenches is always helpful. For C-band dish installations, I usually use a crescent wrench for the elevation bolt adjustment, and the 3/4 inch box end wrench is really handy because that seems to be the standard size for the dish mount bolts. So I always have that with me as well. For KU band installation, a variety of wrenches is handy. The most important wrench though is the 7/16 inch wrench. I usually have 2 or 3 of these. This is almost what all KU band satellite dishes use, 7/16 inch wrenches. I have seen some dishes that are larger that might use a 1/2 inch size bolt on all of their adjustments, and occasionally you need a 3/8 as well. The Shaw satellite dishes have little 3/8 bolts in the back for a skew adjustment, so it's good to have a variety of those, but these 3 are definitely the most important: 3/8, 7/16, and 1/2 inch. And for most TV antenna U-bolt mast clamps, 7/16 seems to be the standard size. You definitely want to have a couple of each of those in your toolbox. And you'll need some kind of a level to check the post for plumb. When you're installing a mast or a post for a dish or an antenna, you want to try and get it as level as possible or as plumb as possible. So you must have some kind of a level. Handy little torpedo level like this is probably the best to carry around. Or if you don't have that, then maybe like a 2-foot level. I wouldn't recommend like a carpenter's level, like a 6-footer though. Just something small and compact that you can put in your toolbox. Here's a nut driver, and this is a 10mm bolt head on it. And this is helpful because I found that with some replacement L&B brackets, that seems to be the nut size, 10mm. So that's also handy to have, maybe a little set of nut drivers for those kind of oddball once in a while fixes. And maybe a multi-screwdriver with a variety of bits. A lot of times L&Bs are held in their brackets with screws, so it's always good to have one of these. One other thing would be some zip ties just to keep all your coax cable nice and neat. These are the essential tools that I have in my toolbox when I install a satellite dish or a TV antenna.